Have you seen any consistency from your defense yet?
I mean, that's hard to say, honestly. Like, it's not trying to be, overly critical or this or that. I mean, consistency. We're only in, practice 8. We've had some from period to period. We've had some where we've had a couple of days. Like, consistency is a week to week in and week out. So I'm not going to say that they've been a consistent group yet. I'm sorry, Tony. I was looking for. I just thought you were.
We started without you.
Hey, run though. That was a good place you to sack the quarterback.
Tony was busy running with the team after he's trying to get conditioned. He just felt a little out of shape in summer, so he's trying to get himself. I appreciate that.
More so than consistent continuity, because it's so important when you're bringing in these new guys.
All the new guys. Yeah, we're really stressing it hard, trying to get them to work with each other, not just on the field, but off the field. I saw a thing this morning, the Tennessee Titans had brought in Jelly Roll, and he was talking about how they really form that bond on the road. And so, I showed that to the guys just because, man, it can't just be you build that consistency for an hour or two on the football field or an hour in the locker room. It's got to be all the time. And so we've been pushing that. Because there has been a fair amount of turnover. I think the guys enjoy being around each other. They're getting there, but the reality is that they're going to have to learn from older teams that we've had here. When we watch film and it's of the 21 team or the 18 team and guys that grew up in the system, they've got to learn. They're going to have to get their scars and their scabs from guys that grew up in the system. And because if we take those lumps, we're probably taking them on Saturdays, and we don't have time to scar in, and fix it. Like that, those things are going to cost us. So they have to kind of learn a different way.
When you talk about the consistency, that can be extremely generic. Is there one area of that, though, where you're having to repeat yourself or you're seeing the mistakes being made?
No, I think it's different things, honestly. Like I think sometimes it's, hey, you're trying to get consistency of effort and energy. Sometimes it's, hey, we're putting in a lot of things. You're going to get mistakes, but you don't want to see the same mistake twice. And it may be a player or two that's making the same. If we made a correction the night before, I don't want to see it the next day. If you're a habitual mistake maker, that's an issue. Like that leads and deteriorates in trust. And so the guys know that there's a high standard. Nobody's above it. And so we'll just keep pushing.
When you talk about guys getting their scars through the system, would you point to Todd Bryant as an example as somebody who's been here through the system and kind of from his leadership?
Absolutely. I made a specific point. There's probably about 5 guys in that room right now that have been in the defense for 3 or more years. We're in 3 or more years in terms of getting good quality game reps, so they understand the speed, they understand the issues. They've been in part of really good wins, and they've been a part of really tough losses. And so those guys are going to be vital, for it. In Ty just today in practice, like you heard him, you felt him, in terms of it wasn't a miscommunication. It was just a soft communication between guys. Well, you can't be soft. It's got to be loud. It's got to be demonstrative. And he was very firm, both on the field and then when we came to the sideline. We're like, hey, listen, guys, this is what's got to occur. And so that's what you need from a leader.
Brad, where have you seen just DJ Waller grow the most since last year?
Maturity. Like I think there's just a maturity to everything he's doing right now in terms of how he handles his business both in the building and outside. And so much, we go back to that same, the Jelly Roll. He talked about how when he was a better father and a better human, he became a better songwriter and performer. It's the same thing in every profession. You tend to find that when you mature in all areas of your life, like there's carryover. It's like the Olympic rings, it's a Venn diagram. Like they all bleed in. I can't live wrong off the field and expect to be that guy on the field, and then vice versa. So I've just been proud of his growth, since the moment he stepped on to where he is here. I mean, from a maturity standpoint, and then I think physically, like he's in a much better shape, you know, for him.
Brad,
Sticking with
has Alex been Afari been kind of like Ty on the back end to the inside linebackers, and what have you seen from that group?
Both Alex and Davin, you know, have been really good, you know, and they feed off each other, and they really. I've been pleasantly surprised. Not surprised is the wrong word, but what is the better word? I've just been, you know, pleased. I guess would be. I'm pleased with that group in general. Like they work together really well. Not just Alex and Davin, which they do. They work in unison. They're really one heartbeat. They started to understand how to move as one and how to communicate. But even the guys behind them. You know, when you're talking with like a Grant Gottfried or a Landyn Watson, you know, Antoine Smith, those guys, and they've really gravitated to the leadership of Alex, and you can hear Alex out there more. You know, you feel his presence. You know, he's put on weight on the off season, and he's moving around. You know, that progression from being a field overhang now being a big, rugged inside backer, and you feel that difference.
Brad, you know, you have the coaching continuity, obviously, but you added Nate Fuqua and Brad Lambert. For you as a coordinator, does that kind of allow you, maybe free you up more to kind of go and just oversee the whole operation more, maybe in the past?
100%. To bring in two coaches of that magnitude, to be able to even sort of cut up the positions even more. And so those guys get individual coaching from coaches that have been, one, in this system, and then two, in the profession for as long as they have. It's invaluable, you know, and it's great for me. You mentioned it. I can bop around a little bit in terms of it's just not just the outside linebackers. Now I can bounce to the D-line, the inside backers, the back end, you know, and have some influence, you know, in terms of just them knowing that, look, coaches all around. It's not just I hear his voice in the unit meeting room or on the practice field. Man, he's in there in Indy, and you know, I've got to do my part in terms of we've got really, really good coaches on defense, and so I'm going to let them coach their guys. You know, I'll never do anything to overstep that. You know, from an individual coaching progression. But if there's, you know, points that need to be made or emphasized or highlighted, I'll make sure those are done.
Yes, last one.
About Sam Green, what he did at USC, and then how is he kind of fit into what you're asking us?
You know, first and foremost with Sam, you know, I've recruited St. Francis High School, you know, junior year, and you know how they just talked about it, and so I knew what kind of person he was. He wasn't a guy specifically that we recruited real heavy, because positionally he was kind of a D lineman coming out of high school. So it just wasn't necessarily a position fit. Well, he lost weight, you know, moved to the edge, but he brings that tough, rugged physicality. You know, a guy that I had who's very similar mentality-wise in Indianapolis, Eric Walton, he reminds me a lot of that. He's sort of a tone setter with that physicality and that strength. He's strong as an ox, but he's an unbelievable teammate, worker, like a guy that just, he walks in, he's got an infectious smile, and, you know, I want to say, like, he never has a bad day, you know, in terms of, like, and he might, but he's not going to bring that negativity, that aura into the building. Like, he'll swallow it and make sure when he walks in the building, everybody can feed off him. And those are special young men.
Moving back to the corners, a lot of times you see maybe a bigger guy, maybe a shorter guy, a little bit more speed. So what are the pros and cons of having two tall, long guys like DJ and JQ out there?
Yeah, obviously when you have length on the outside edge, it covers up windows. You know, it's hard for a QB, even if maybe you got beat on the line of scrimmage and you're in trail. You know, one, you're looking at a 6'3" man, and then, I know if his arm goes up, how much taller that is. Like, you lose track of receivers as the further it goes down the field. So balls have to be perfect. So yeah, there's give and take. You know, obviously, you know, if you're 5'9" or 5'10", a lot of times you can be a little bit quicker, in and out of breaks transitionally. It takes a little bit longer at times when you're longer legged, but they also gobble a lot of ground once they come out. So the big thing is when you're taller, you have to remain focused on knee bend. You tend to, if you get tired, you raise up and you get tall, and then it's really slow at the transition. You got to really focus on, staying low throughout the down, really focus on technique. But when it comes to ball disruption and the ball's about to hit the receiver's hand, they've got that extra length to get it off them, that extra length where a QB thinks he can thread it, and all of a sudden, instead of being a completion, it's an interception.
Okay, last one is Jeff here.
Similar
We
to
went
you.
from last one to 2 more.
I know. Bonus question. I'm being kind of generous there. Well, I missed the first two running up here. So.
Similar to John's question, Green. What were some of the things you saw with Landyn Watson in the portal, and how has he adjusted to this transition?
Yeah, similar. Like he was, you watch him, and coming from Marshall, like it's really good competition. I really think that league, that conference, has a lot of really talented players, and then they got to play a team like Ohio State last year in Ohio State. So when you turn on the tape, you got to see him making plays against high-level competition, and he was big and he was strong. And for as big as he is, and some would say, oh man, he's like a thumper. He's light on his feet. He can make guys miss. In pass rush, he's got a natural wiggle to him. He's really bright. He's conscientious. He cares. So I'm really excited to see him sort of continue to build in this defense. And every day he just gets more comfortable and confident. I thought today might have been one of his, if not the best sort of practice. I thought he was really dialed in today with an understanding of, hey, what we're trying to get done in what situation, where I'm supposed to fit. And like anybody else, right, it's about reps. And he only got limited reps in spring just because of coming off the surgery, and so excited about sort of where his ceiling's going to be.
Okay, tough folks. Thank you.
So, feel like y'all hit the wall yet? No, it's been out here a little bit. How do you think it's going so far?
I don't think we've hit a wall. I think it's been going pretty well. I know the defense, we're still learning, still moving frequently. D-line, we're still learning our techniques and, trying to get this job done.
Yeah, and for you, do you feel like with all the new guys, I guess not a ton of new guys, but y'all got some new guys in the defensive line room, do you feel like you're all kind of up to speed where you need to be as opposed to like maybe, previous fall camps?
I'll say we're getting there, but
Yeah.
I know me, since I've kind of sort of the vet guy, I know I had to take on that leadership role to help bring up the new guys and get them up to speed on what we're doing and the technique and how we play different things in the plays.
Yeah. And back to last year, y'all's run defense just kind of crumbled a little bit down the stretch. What do y'all need to do to make sure that doesn't happen again this year?
We're working on that now by being physical, being the most dominant at the line of scrimmage, going hard in the weight room, getting bigger, faster, and stronger.
Is that, do you think, been a big kind of program emphasis for you all to get back to being sturdy against the run?
Yeah, definitely. We've been priding ourselves on that. Kentucky has prided itself on that for a while now, and we're just working on getting back to that.
Yeah, and you mentioned just the physicality and physicalness of the camp and how y'all want to play football.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is maybe more physical than y'all been in the past in practice, maybe back in the spring and then this camp, or is it?
Yeah, definitely. Like Coach White said today, we got to be that old rugged truck to keep going hard and keep going over and able to outwork teams.
Yeah. Do you think that's more of is that more of a mindset kind of thing, just being, being physical and attacking each drill?
Yeah,
you think
I'd say it's definitely a mindset thing, and it's also a physicality thing. You got to be able to go out and do that and know that you can go out and do that.
Right. And you all as the defense, when y'all get out here and get in these scrimmages, what are y'all trying to prove? What are y'all trying to show?
Show that last year wasn't us, and that this year coming up that we can turn it around, be more physical, and finish games and outplay our opponents.
Thank you, Kahlil.
A lot of those younger guys that are out there now, what are you seeing from those other guys that you guys are trying to develop for more depth?
Yeah, a lot of them younger guys, they are really coachable. You know, they really listen. They wanna learn. They wanna get better. So it makes it easier for me when I'm telling them or teaching them the ways how to, you know, play the right technique and all that. So yeah, it's make my job easier because they really coachable.
Antoine Smith's name comes up a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And in some ways, he kind of reminds me a little bit of you when you were younger.
Yeah.
You see some similarities there?
Yeah, for sure. He's like my little brother. He pushed me every day. Like me and him, we real close. I just try to teach him the way because he's gonna be next up when I'm gone. So I'm trying to teach him the way how to be a linebacker, and he's gonna be playing a lot this year as well too.
Alex, are you wearing the green dot, or are y'all kind of bouncing it back and forth?
We just bouncing it back and forth. We haven't decided who's gonna wear it during the game, but out here at practice, everybody's wearing it.
Do you have a preference? Do you like the coaches in your ear, or would you rather just focus on playing?
Yeah, I don't mind the coaches in my ear. I like it. I like the getting the calls to the DBs and the linebackers. So I don't mind it at all.
8 days into practice, how's the body, how's the mental feeling? I know you guys were excited to start, but you've obviously been working hard, doing a lot of running. So how you guys feeling so far?
I still feel good. You know, I just like you said, 8 days now. Like that's when people start, you know, having little injuries and all that shit. But it's been good. You know, people have been bought into the system. The defense look real good. The offense look good as well. So we're just trying to take it day by day and looking forward for Toledo.
Alex, when y'all get out here and, you know, start scrimmaging, what are this defense, what are they going to try to look to prove or accomplish when y'all get out here and play, you know, full goal 11 on 11?
Yeah, we just want to be physical, like from the points, from the start. We just got to be physical. We got to want them more than they do, and we just got to strike and play with violence. That's what we're looking for.
Is that physicality, do you feel like that's a big kind of program emphasis point for you all this year?
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Get back to that.
Yeah, it's like the culture we had here for way back, you know, since then we're trying to bring that culture back, just being a tough physical football team, and we're trying to bring that back to Kentucky.
What have you seen from Landyn so far, and how's he adjusted to coming in?
Yeah, he's been great to our linebacker. He picked up the defense real quick. He's making a lot of plays out here in camp. You know, he's looking real good. He's gonna be a real nice piece to our defense.
I think Brad mentioned to us that like he's a guy that just won't let negativity seep in. A really good, upbeat, positive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's like that with our linebackers room. You know, he's also a leader in our linebacker room. You know, get everybody right. He's quiet a little bit, but when he needs to speak up, he would talk. And yeah, he's been great to our defense.
It's a little bit different, you know. They get from a 3-down front to a 4-down front, you know, do different multiple things on defense, but it's very, very similar, you know, cover three, quarters. So just being able to kind of play in a much similar system is very easy for me.
And then Coach White just talked to us about kind of your pass rush potential, and I know you did a little bit of edge stuff at Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
Just what can you bring to the defense in that, and why do you think that's something that you're good at?
I definitely bring a lot of versatility to the defense. You know, I started my career at TCU as a defensive end. You know, all high school playing defensive end. So me making the transition to linebacker in the middle of college, you know, I thought it would be great to, you know, add more versatility to my game. You know, being able to stop the run, being able to rush, being able to cover, just being able to do everything or do anything that the coach asked me to do in the field.
Every year we hear we've got to get to the quarterback. We hear it almost. I haven't heard it as much this year, but obviously that's a staple. What is the key to get there? Because the size UK had in years past didn't get there. Speed sometimes did get there. So what do you say?
I say just, you know, everybody doing their job. You know, the way our defense works, everybody does their job. One person's going to get that one-on-one battle with somebody, and it's their job to win. And, you know, when you get that one-on-one battle, you got to make the most of it. So I feel like defensively, we've done a great job of everybody doing their job and everybody not trying to do too much, trying to make a play. Just know the play is going to come to you if you do your job.
When you got into the portal, why was Kentucky so attractive to you?
You know, definitely, you know, the track history of linebackers coming out of here. You know, there's a lot of great linebackers that came out of here. You know, great defensive system. You know, sitting and talking with Coach White, he knows a lot of ball. Coming from the NFL, knows what it takes in order to get to the NFL. So that's what definitely stood out to me and my parents. And, you know, obviously playing the SEC. You know, Kentucky has always been a good defensive school. You know, last year wasn't the best year, but we're trying to get back on top.
You get ready for the season?
I feel great. Just getting closer with the defense, understanding it more. Everything's starting to click. Building trust with my teammates. I think everything's going well right now. we just taking it day by day and just continue to stack days. It's really early.
What are you seeing from the D-line right now? Who are some guys that maybe have been standing out to you, and why can this be a strength of the team?
What I've been seeing is just physicality, relentless effort to the ball, just real physicality. I think we've been real physical. I think everybody just stepped up, like Gusta, like even the young guys like Gerard, just getting better and better. You know, I see him take a huge leap since I've been here from the spring to now. I think he just keeps getting better. So him, Jaden Williams, Tay, Kahlil, obviously he's been here, so he just been teaching us a lot of stuff about the plays and why we run this and why we do that. So I think his experience is helping us out, catching us up faster on things. So I think that's why it's gonna be a strength, just because how physical and we are.
Do you think it helps having in that room to have a couple transfers with you that are going through kind of the same thing you are?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's like you don't want to be that only person.
Right.
It's like everybody else knows something you don't. So we all learning together, and it's like we learning fast. And obviously, it's definitely great having Kahlil there because he's been in the system, so he's been helping us out and everything. But I think it's good just having other transfers because we all come from different teams and we bring in different things, aspects like our speed, physicality, IQ, everything, just what we learned from our other schools. So I think that's great, just having other transfers as well.
And I know you weren't here, but last year their run defense kind of crumbled there towards the end. Has that been a big emphasis for you all, specifically the defensive line? It's like stopping that run first, that physicality, setting the
I think that's emphasis in every defense. You want to stop the run. You feel me? You don't stop the run, it's gonna be a long game.
Right.
So I think that's an emphasis. I wasn't here last year, obviously, so I don't really know too much about like what happened last year, but I know it's definitely an emphasis this year. Like that's how I play. Like you got to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pass rush, but I got to stop the run. You know, that's rule number one. You got to stop the run. Everybody know that.
On the other side of the ball, who are you seeing what are you seeing out of them?
Just the whole offense in general?
Offense in general, or if there's a couple people that's sticking out to you when you guys are going out?
I think just offense in general. I like the younger guys. Like I see like DJ Miller, he make a lot of plays. I like Willie, Caddis. I feel like they hardworking. I definitely like Seth. I think he's gonna be real good for us. You know, I like some of the cuts he made. I'm like, man, like he definitely he can go. I'm excited for our offense as well. Definitely the quarterbacks and our O-line. I think they doing good as well. Just gelling with each other and getting better each day.
Are you excited to tackle some of those guys when y'all get to go live in the scrimmages?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, they're like, I was just talking to Mark the other day, like, what you think, what your stats gonna be for that scrimmage? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, I said, probably a couple TFA. So you think you're gonna tackle the running backs? I said, yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see for sure. I've been knowing Marion since I was 7 years old. So
yeah.
Different. He's wired different. That's what you want. You want a guy that's a freaking butt kicker, and that's what he does. But he brings a lot of energy, a lot of physicality to the front, and him and Josiah. And so we're very excited about having him. You know, just to anchor that middle, him and Josiah, because you know every great defense has an unbelievable D line, and you know we're working towards something special.
You've had injuries that have really played havoc on the last couple of years on your team. Everybody's healthy now, but I don't want to say it's the deepest you've ever had, but this is a pretty deep defensive front, isn't it?
This is, man, I tell you what, we're really deep. We're very fortunate. That was one thing that Coach Toots and Brad talked about this offseason, you know, really building that depth, getting some, you know, healthy bodies in here. Because like you said, last spring, man, it was crazy. You know, our two guys that we really depended on went down, and then, you know, with Dion and Keyshawn not being 100%, it hurt us, right? That's four really big engines that we was, you know, expecting to give us a lot, and so we didn't have that depth, and so, you know, that was one thing that we did this offseason. We addressed that, man. I tell you what, we're healthy. The guys are competing, you know, they're competing. That's why when you compete, that builds depth, and that's what we've been doing. We've been competing our butt off, and so there's no depth chart right now, and those guys are going to decide the depth chart, not me, not Coach Wright, not Coach Stoops, and so and they know that, and that's why they out here. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger. They had a heck of a off season, unbelievable summer, and now we're putting it out there, we're putting it on film now.
You mentioned Dion right there. Obviously, he was taking up a lot of double teams last year, even though he was injured. How does that kind of change the game plan and things for some of these other guys coming back?
Not at all. Not at all. You know, our defense is our defense, and so we got big, strong guys now. We don't have nobody, you know, as giant as him, but not at all. You know, the technique is the technique at the end of the day, and so the guys are really working. You know, it's my job to teach those guys the technique, the ability to strain and strike, and they've really been accepted to that, man. I'll tell you what, we've been getting after it, and we're just really excited about where we are and where we're going.
Would you say the D-line's maybe a little bit more athletic, a little bit more twitchy this year than maybe last year?
I'll agree with that, especially with the bodies that were beat up last year. We are, you know, we're quicker, we're faster. The guys are strong. You know, they're stronger. The few guys the extra guys that we brought into additions have gelled really well, and we expect those guys to come out and not have a drop off. So we're really excited about what we got going on.
Anwar, did y'all feel like going in the offseason, like getting quicker, getting faster was a big need for y'all as you kind of rebuilt
You know
this room?
what? It was that too, but it was also just getting healthy.
Yeah.
You know, like we talked about earlier, you know, with Dion being hurt and Keyshawn being down, and then, you know, Josiah and Tavion went down in the spring. Those are four really important pieces to the puzzle that, you know, that wasn't there. And so we had to address that. And when you talk about bigger, faster, and stronger, yes, you always want to have. All great teams always have a great defensive line. And it starts up front with the O-line and the D-line. That's the one thing that we addressed this year, and we're really excited about what we have. But are we there yet? Not even close. So we're just going to keep working, keep grinding. And then at the end of August, let's kick it off and let's see where we are.